Let me start by asking you to stand up. Stand strong on two legs. Now close your eyes and imagine you're about to walk into an arena. And not just any arena, it's the Olympic arena. In 2 minutes, the final of your dreams begins. Your heart is pounding. You don't see the crowd, but you hear the sound of lots of people waiting for this final to start. The battle for the gold medal in an Olympic final. In 2 minutes, that all-defining moment will begin. The energy is flowing through your body. You try to keep yourself calm. The moment is about to begin. Are you ready? Ready to attack? Ready to show the whole world what you've been preparing for so long? This is the moment. Open your eyes. It's the Olympic final. Well, unfortunately, I'm not here today to perform in an Olympic final, but I am happy to introduce the one and only Olympic beam. It's only 10 centimeters wide, and I performed on it in the Rio Olympic balance beam final. Sports is all about competition, about being at your very best when it counts, at that one moment. For me, it all started with a dream. When I was 12 years old, I saw Romania's Catalina Ponor win the Olympic balance beam final. I sat in front of the television, as close as I could. Not 1 second slipped by me. She performed a wonderful routine. Difficult, elegant, stable, and above all, very confident. I wondered, how does she do it? How is she able to show the very best of herself in such a big final, under that pressure, at that one moment? I looked at her as if she were a superhuman. She became my idol. Not knowing that 12 years later, in 2016, I would get to compete for the gold medal myself with her, with my idol, in the Rio Olympic balance beam final. And this time, it wouldn't be her, but me, who managed to perform under that pressure and win. It took me a while to get there. In 2015, I was well behind the world number one. I had finished second in the world, with 1 point less than the girl who took the gold. In gymnastics, falling off this beam is a 1-point deduction. So in a matter of speaking, she could actually fall off this beam and still win. Well, closing this gap felt like an impossible task, but still I didn't want to give up on my dream of becoming an Olympic champion. So together with my team of experts, I made a beam routine that enabled me to compete for the gold medal 1 year later. The plan was ready. Yet I knew that in the end, only one thing would count. I had to make sure I could perform this difficult routine at that once-in-a-lifetime Olympic moment. But how? Research has shown that imagery interventions, like for example visualizations, are an established psychological tool to enhance performance and psychological skills. I myself like to take it one step further and like to call it living in your dream. You might wonder what living in your dream means and how you can do it. To live in your dream, you need 3 things. First, a dream, a very clear vision of the end result. Second, an image of the version of yourself in that dream. And third, a vivid imagination to start living in your dream. What I started with was making my dream as clear as possible. What did my dream actually entail? What was it going to take to become an Olympic champion? For example, what I found out when I started looking at my dream really closely was that I needed to make my routine more difficult, which meant I needed to learn new tricks, which meant I needed to get physically stronger to perform those tricks, which meant, and so on. This is how you get a zoomed-in picture of everything your dream entails, and what you can do today to take the first step. In addition, you also need an image of the version of yourself in that dream. It was a huge eye-opener for me once I realized that achieving my dream would require a different version, the next level version of myself. A few years ago, I looked back at everything I had achieved in my sport up to that point and wanted to find a way to go to the next level. I hadn't won a single major medal yet and wanted nothing more than to compete for the podiums. I knew I was always training hard and that the investment I was making physically was huge, but something was missing. I was searching for the version of myself who could win medals. When I first started learning and reading about personal development, self-image, beliefs, belief systems, and how you can switch them, I began to realize that the mind has a great influence in all that we are. I realized I needed to start training my mind, and that it would take a different version, the better version of myself, to win. I started answering questions about myself and creating an image of who I needed to be and become to be a winner. Now let me ask you, who do you need to be if you want to be a doctor? What do you need to develop if you want to be a pilot? What strengths do you already have that will make the difference when you want to start your own business? What weaknesses need attention? How does that version of yourself feel and act? I also mentioned you need a vivid imagination to start living in your dream. No less than 3 times a day, I went through the entire Olympic final in my head, as detailed as possible. I knew what outfit I would wear. I knew how I would enter the arena. I knew where I would put my bag. I knew where this beam would be, where the judges would be. I knew what difficult routine I would do and where I would do my dismount. I knew where I would then get my score and that it would be a very high score and how happy I would be. I knew how it would feel to win and where I would receive the gold medal. I knew how the national anthem would sound in the arena and how magical this moment would be. Now, if you were to ask me to perform in an Olympic final tomorrow, my anxiety level would peak and I would probably not show up for the challenge. Same would happen if I were to ask you to come up here now and do a handstand on this beam. you were asked to give the presentation you had to prepare for tomorrow in Dutch, give in English. Or the exam you expected to take in 2 weeks' time will now take place in 2 days. When you first start living in your dream, it is hard to envision that there will ever be a moment when you are ready to enter this moment. I experienced that it's not a moment of knowing, and you never know when you are ready. But somewhere along the line, there is this tipping point where your anxiety turns into faith and your uncertainty will turn into belief. It's not a moment of knowing you are ready, it's a moment of feeling ready. Big moments like these require intense preparation, and it is in your intense preparation that you will find the moment you are ready to deliver the end result. So make the decision today. Start living in your dream and be your best at that one moment.